Guyana UK trade nearly doubles, government concerned over human trafficking, and activist files objection to EPA appeal. I'm Rico Polford, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. Guyana is the largest trade partner with the United Kingdom in the Caribbean, with £1.2 billion in goods and services exchanged in 2022, an increase of £840 million from 2021. The British High Commissioner to Guyana, Jane Miller, noted that the UK's huge interest in Guyana and the establishment of the British Business Chamber of Commerce Guyana, BritCham, is to improve business opportunities. The UK continues to support Guyana in areas such as forest activities, climate change, human rights, and the LGBTQ community. Gail Teixeira said that trade with the UK has reached an all-time high, which, well, technically is not true because the all-time high would probably have been the height of colonialism. Aha! But no, seriously, good for us. APNU has expressed willingness to meet with the EU team currently in the nation to assist with electoral reforms. The opposition intends to make the case for a clean voters list and the use of biometrics for voting, and to advance the agenda on electoral reforms. The EU Observer Mission's recommendations for a complete overhaul of GCOM, a thorough update of the decade-old register, and a clean written procedures for the transmission and tabulation of election results were all endorsed by the opposition. The Guyana Livestock Development Authority has banned the importation of poultry and poultry products due to concerns over bird flu, which has been reported in the Americas. The ban is a preventative measure to protect national security and, of course, food security. The GLDA CEO will participate in a meeting with the World Organization for Animal Health to determine strategies to contain and eradicate diseases affecting animals for consumption. The GLDA is reinforcing ports of entry and improving testing capabilities to contain any potential outbreaks. Assistant Secretary Jeffrey Pyatt of the U.S. Department of State, Bureau of Energy Resources, visited Guyana to discuss long-term partnerships in energy and climate change. Discussions included the U.S. Caribbean Partnership to address the climate crisis 2030, and Guyana's plans for economic diversification and major infrastructure upgrades. Guyana committed to giving investors from around the world a fair opportunity to participate in the nation's development, with benefits trickling down to the ordinary man, supposedly. In other green energy-related news, Minister Ashley Singh signed an MOU with the Islamic Development Bank concerning the country engagement framework for Guyana for green, resilient, and sustainable infrastructure. The MOU comprises of two pillars, with the first supporting infrastructure in energy, transport, water, sanitation, and affordable housing, and the second supporting economic diversification and doing business through ICT, agriculture, tourism, mining, financial markets, deepening MSME support through Islamic finance, and trade finance support. The minister is currently attending the 2023 Islamic Development Bank Group annual meetings in Saudi Arabia. Independence Day is coming up, so it's time to declare independence from breakdowns with Powered Automotive. They have reliable, high-quality truck parts and spares for your truck at amazing prices. Visit them at Lot 490 EE Eccles, or call or WhatsApp them on telephone number 697-0171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. Tired of waiting on hold, tracking down a delivery driver, or carrying cash for your food orders? GTEats is here to make your life easier. Guyana's first cashless food ordering and delivery app. Choose from Georgetown's top restaurants, pay securely with your card, and get your food delivered right to your doorstep. With the convenience of being able to order from your phone and the added feature of tracking your order, GTEats is the ultimate solution for all your food needs. Download the app on Apple and Android stores and start ordering the easy way today. Home Affairs Minister Robeson Ben said that he is concerned about human trafficking through Guyana onto the Brazil and then the US-Mexican border, but he does not want Guyana to be party to it. Official statistics show that many Haitians arrived in Guyana but do not leave through designated ports of entry, with 18,564 being unaccounted for in 2019. However, that number has reduced significantly in recent years due to the pandemic and reimposed visa restrictions on Haitians after some were found supposedly in unauthorized locations in the nation. the United Nations Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination has called for the suspension of expulsions of Haitians fleeing violence, estimating that 36,000 were expelled from other countries between January and March 2021. We, of course, being among the nations expelling said Haitians. Sad, isn't it? In other news, the police are currently investigating a complaint by the chairman of GCOM, retired Justice Claudette Singh, about a death threat allegedly made by opposition parliamentarian Coretta MacDonald. The threat was reportedly made outside GCOM's headquarters on May the 9th, and the vice president supported Singh's decision to report the threat and has written to the police commissioner and the House Speaker about it. Interesting timing, to say the least. Now for today's oil update. Despite yesterday's pouring rain, Ray Daggers reached Georgetown. Yesterday, he and Glenn Law walked 10 miles in the rain to protest against Guyana's contract with ExxonMobil. Daggers has so far covered 128 miles, starting from Mosen Creek in Berbice, and expects to reach Charity in Pomeroon in the next few days. He was inspired by Glenn Law's efforts to fight for a change to the contract and hopes to continue his journey despite the rainy weather. According to Jagdeo, Guyana has a 3-line cover in place for any oil spill amounting up to $16.6 billion. The first line of defense is $600 million in environmental liability insurance, followed by $14 billion in assets from Exxon's Guyana affiliate and its co-ventures Hess and Chinook. The final line is a $2 billion company guarantee. This follows negotiations with ExxonMobil, which concluded on April the 27th of this year, and a recent ruling by the High Court that the guarantee should be unlimited, which is currently being appealed in the Court of Appeals by the EPA. Although when you think about it, that $14 billion is no real guarantee, because basically they're saying that they would have to liquidate all their assets here before they can even pay to clean up, which means that once the cleanup's over, who's going to stick around to continue? I guess they aren't, because they would have sold off everything. Oh well. And finally, Frederick Collins, the head of Transparency Institute Guyana, filed an objection in the Court of Appeals to block the EPA's request to halt the High Court order for the Limited Parent Guarantee Agreement from ExxonMobil. The EPA argues that an unlimited parent guarantee does not exist in the industry, and that the government has an adequate guarantee and insurance package, while Collins argues that the permit requires an unlimited guarantee, and that Exxon's president has stated that the company will cover all costs associated with any spill. Collins is calling on the court to refuse the EPA's request for a stay of the March 3rd, 2023 judgment. Mother's Day is just around the corner, and there's no better way to show your love and appreciation than with a beautiful bouquet from Shanishas Flowerland. Our dozen roses are only $16,000, and mixed bouquets start at just $3,000, so you can spoil your mom without breaking the bank. And the best part, we accept international orders, so you can be living in another country and still order your mom some flowers from us. Plus, buy one artificial arrangement and get the second one half off. And don't forget our special balloon bouquet starting at just $10,000. Follow us on Facebook to stay up to date on all our latest promotions and deals. Come visit us at the Movietown Mall in Georgetown or order online and make this Mother's Day unforgettable. Robbery season might be over, but the streets are still mean. That's why you need to get security for your home or business with Sheriff Security. Sheriff Security has well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, marine patrol, canine services. They speed even our drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest. Now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today. Now for our Uncut News Field Sport Question of the Day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and our youth it based to us. Yesterday I asked about the flooding in Georgetown, and I wanted to know if you're high and dry or if you're underwater. But before we get to that, I'm proud to announce our latest addition to the Noble Army, Richard Singh, who is supporting us at the reporter level, the highest level of monthly support we've received so far. So thank you, Richard Singh. And also a special thank you to David Griffith, Dion Nascimento, Project Zero, and Dimitri V. I appreciate you all. And if you're watching at home and you'd like to support our movement, just hit the link in the video description. Miss Samaru says she's high and dry in Linden. Wish I could say the same. I'm still drying out my socks from yesterday. And finally, Jay Jairam says his position is currently under mud water. Me too, brother. Me too. Now for tonight's question. I want to know, Where are you watching from? And what are some issues that are currently plaguing your community? I want you to think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it on Monday's episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out on Monday for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying, have a great weekend. And as always, don't drink and drive, or you'll end up on Monday's episode the hard way. Ha ha! Good night, folks.